This is Mark DeVries, and from all of us at Ministry Architects, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Hi, everybody. This is Doug Rank, lead consultant with Ministry Architects and full-time youth pastor here in Santa Barbara, California. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Priscilla.
We wish you a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
Hi, this is Jeff Dunn Rankin with a prayer that at some point during the season, you get off the merry-go-round, that you take a deep, deep breath and you rest in the joy that is Christmas.
It's that time again, the Sustainable Ministry Show, our holiday episode number 8, Ho Ho Ho. All right, well, let's do this. Hey, everybody, we are back with another episode of the Sustainable Ministry Show, and glad to be with you. Today, we're going to spend some time with a regular on the show, Melissa Rao, and Stephanie Caro, who was on the second episode and is now back with us, just to talk about Christmas and New Year's. And
if she's regular and I irregular?
Maybe we shouldn't use that word to describe anybody, Bryant.
Okay, we'll take it back. We'll take it back. I don't think you're irregular, Stephanie.
You don't know that, but anyway, I'm not.
So now that we've got those lovely introductions taken care of, I wonder if we could start today a little bit. Do you guys remember what Christmas was like as a child? Was there a favorite gift that you got when you were growing up that you still remember to this day?
You know what? It's so funny. For all of you people at home listening or watching, the good news is that we knew beforehand that this question was going to be asked. And so when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, gosh, do I even have one? And honestly, it was so hard to be like, oh, that one gift was the very best. The one thing that was the most special that I have with me even today is a ring my grandmother gave me. And so it was just a special, special thing that I still have today.
Do we need a break for some tissues, Stephanie?
Oh, let's see. My favorite thing about Christmas as a child isn't, though I loved the presents. I loved the presents. And as a child, mine were always the bigger the presents, the better. And I'm still kind of like that. But since my dad was a pastor, my favorite things were Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and all the things that happened in the schedule. So singing and the choir and the in between the services. And as I got older, my dad making me and my sisters wrap his presents for him. Christmas morning, having a birthday cake, all that kind of stuff at church. So my favorite memories are really about what we did, not so much what I got. But don't get me wrong, I love the presents. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I told my husband here specifically with a link exactly what I wanted. Here it is. Here's the link right to the order page. I already have it in the cart for you.
I actually like that. No hints, no clues. You just very specific.
I've given up on him thinking of the great stuff on his own. The last time I left him on his own, he got me a briefcase. It was not a win.
I love it. Yeah, for me, it's funny you say you got a gift from your grandmother, Melissa, because for me, it was the gifts I got from my grandmother that I remember. And they were always really, really strange. One year I got, it was probably like a 4-foot inflatable bowling pin. Another year, and this, I was probably 12, I got a brass hammer paperweight.
From your grandma?
From my grandmother, yeah. And I have a hunch these were things sitting around her house.
Yeah, did she ever wrap up a cat?
No, she did not do that. It's close, but
Great.
My grandma gave me great gifts. She was my favorite person in the world. Being from the South, we called her Meemaw. and she would give me great gifts. She was the kind of grandma that she always asked me what I wanted. She wanted to give me cool gifts, not boring grandma gifts like, a brass paperweight. Is your grandma still alive, Bryant?
No,
Is there
not. She's not. You won't offend her.
And then my grandma, she was the kind of grandma though that as you were leaving, she'd sneak a 20 into your hand and don't tell your grandfather. I just said it in a New York accent, and she was.
I was just thinking that.
You're like, don't tell your granddaddy.
Mima from Long Island.
My from Long Island. It was funnier with the accent though. She was the best. I remember the year she gave me a choice between a hair dryer and a Mickey Mouse watch. And if I had chosen the Mickey Mouse watch, I'd be flippin' rich today because it was like one of the originals. But no, I chose the hair dryer, one of those kind where the thing went into this plastic thing on your head. You know that kind. Never mind, Bryant. You would know.
Was that a Floby?
It was used to be you put these plastic caps on your head and then this plastic tube and the dryer was in a little thing and it blew the hot air up on. Go look it up on Google.
It's been a long time since I've used a hair dryer.
Bryant, it's been a long time since you've used a hair anything.
Oh, Stephanie, I love you.
Did that hurt your feelings?
No.
Then I'm just not trying hard enough. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
So, like you, Stephanie, my dad was also a pastor, and the fondest memory I have of the things that we did was going to the candlelight Christmas Eve service. And now I look back and like he must have been crazy because he always did 11 o'clock service and that was it. But I remember standing there watching the candles lit, singing Silent Night every single Christmas. Melissa, did you have some traditions that your family did growing up as well?
Yeah, every Christmas we had Christmas breakfast where all the grandparents came over, even sometimes cousins and whatnot came over to share Christmas breakfast together. That kind of fell by the wayside about 5 years ago when my husband and the kids and I moved to New York City so he could go to seminary. And now that he's a clergy person, it's difficult to have any kind of thing for breakfast. But next year, I'm already looking forward to kind of bringing that back into the things because I want my kids to have that same tradition. So we're just going to call it Christmas brunch because he has a 10 o'clock service on Christmas morning. So yeah, loved it.
Well, and next year, Christmas is on a Sunday, I think.
It's true.
That's always a great day.
It's true.
Staff people. We love it when Christmas is on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't complicate anything.
Nothing at all.
Not a thing.
So what are some of the ways you see churches hold those Christmas traditions sacred and lift those up throughout the Christmas season?
You know, I it delights me, and it delighted me yesterday because I got to worship at my home church here in Katy yesterday, and it's a contemporary service that we go to, but I was still delighted that we all sang O Come, Emmanuel. We've been studying one of the verses each Sunday, and we all sang it, and everybody still knew it. I'm delighted that the Advent wreath still has a meaning to all of us, even though it's a contemporary service. I'm delighted that the poinsettias came to church yesterday, and I looked forward, knowing they were going to be there, and knowing that one of them is there just in honor of my mom, and she'll see the list Christmas Eve, and that'll score me some points. I might move up to her second favorite child. But it was just a blessing to see how that still moves through time. And some things are the same. Some things need to be different, but it was really comforting. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, Bryant.
Well,
What
for
about
us, yeah, Advent's been really interesting this year in light of like what's going on in the world and politics and all the gun discussion here in the States and watching the presidential elections and all of that mess. To go back to the things of hope and the things of joy and the things of peace has just had a real special meaning in our church and has had opened up some discussions amongst people that I don't think we would have had otherwise. And so Advent for us has just taken on a new meaning this year. It's had some more prominence, I think, in our lives and in the life of our church this year than it has in the past because of that. And so that's been really neat to watch. Being a staff person on a church is always interesting too, because trying to figure out like which service will we attend, which service will we attend as a family, which service will we go to, my wife and I, to kind of be a part of the Christmas season, and which services will I be working at. And generally, most of the ones that we attend, I'm also working at.
Right.
And it makes it
It's
hard.
a delicate balance. I hope for staff people that, and we can hope this and how it really turns out, but I know I've been coaching folks about their youth ministry and saying to them that I hope that they actually give themselves a break from youth ministry, because as a church staff person, Christmas Eve, I'll never forget this one year standing at the back of my church there in Florida and thinking, I'm exhausted and I can't wait till this is over. And here it was, Christmas Eve, the best outreach of the year. And all I could say was, I can't wait till I can meet the couch face to face. And I'm so glad that in youth ministry, it's permissible now to take a couple of weeks off and shut down your youth program. 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. 20 years ago, you still were, you always had to meet, and it became, though, okay to have family time. And boy, I think youth workers out there, if you're still putting a lot of time in youth ministry over the Christmas holidays, I'd rethink it next year. And I don't think you get any pushback.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, you know what? Being married to Mike, who is, a pastor, pastoring his own church now, it's a solo gig, right? And he's fried. He's already fried, and it's Monday, and it's typically his day off, And of course, I said to him, I'm like, because I was hoping we could go and buy our stocking stuffers, And it didn't even compute in my head, like, wow, he's going to be working today. Of course he's going to be working today. It's that week, and he's already fried. And so I really resonate with what you just said, Steph. You're right. And Bryant, it's kind of crazy as a staff person of a church during this time. Same thing with Easter, right? Same thing.
Yeah. I wish that every church that could hear this and maybe this gets shared is, I would love it if churches would just say to their staff people, take the week between Christmas and New Year's off with pay. Don't pretend to have to show up to the office. Just show up Christmas Sunday. Make the youth pastor preach Christmas Sunday. That's youth pastor Sunday anyway. But other than that, just let your staff people stay home. Put the phone on forwarding. Put it on a machine, and just let everybody stay home. And give them the week with pay without any just struggle to it. Just let everybody have a break.
Yeah, man.
If you don't like that idea, the letters go to Bryant Johnson at
Ministry Architect.
Johnson at YM Architects.
YM Architects.
There you go. And so for all our family members that listen to the podcast and drive up our downloads, if you would take this to your churches and ask your pastors to watch and give their staff a break next year.
Seriously, because in from a practical standpoint, in the world of what churches are going through right now, we're struggling more financially, and so maybe we don't have the money to give people raises. So here's what we can do: is we can give them that week. We can give them 10 days where they don't have to show up to the church office, and we can just say, "Hey, if we need something, we'll call you." You know, we'd still have to go to the hospital, but you know, maybe we'd share that duty, and you don't have to come into the office to make that happen. And you know what? I got an idea for you. Guess what? If you didn't have a church bulletin, Jesus would still be there.
Yeah. Hey.
You know?
Well, now that we're talking about some logistics things and some takeaway stuff, I'm curious what your churches do or what they don't do for staff and Christmas bonuses.
Oy.
I'm just wondering.
I got the best story. It's just gonna make everybody feel bad about themselves, but I served this church where there was this wonderful couple in there. And I can't tell you where because I don't want, you know, but anyway, there's this wonderful couple in this church, and God had been good to them through business time, but I didn't know they had this habit. So the first year I was there, I came home from the worst day on ministry. It was just that Christmas week. It was horrible. And I sat down, and opened up the Christmas card, and there's this Christmas card from this couple. And inside I open it up, and there's a $1,500 check in it.
Oh, wow.
They quickly became my favorite people. And then I thought, well, maybe so I didn't say anything because I don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings. And the next morning, I think was fourth Sunday of Advent, and I sat down, the senior pastor and I sat down together before service began, and we're sitting there in our little spot, and he said, I said, boy, is this a Merry Christmas? He said, yeah, you got the card from the Dun-ta-duns, didn't you? And I said, yes, I did. And I loved that church. It showed up every year.
Wow.
It got bigger.
Bryant, do you have anything at your church or other churches with you?
Our current church, the staff parish, which is like responsible for all the staff in the Methodist Church, big committee there, they have planned a Christmas dinner for us every year. And it's really just a gathering. No big checks like Stephanie. No bonuses, but
that was a one church thing. But anyway.
Yeah, no bonuses, no staff raises, just a really nice time together to eat dinner together. And we played some little games and, did a little white elephant thing, that sort of thing. But just a nice time where there was really no church discussion, no planning, no talking about Christmas Eve or services or any of that stuff. Just having dinner together is fantastic.
That's nice. Did your family, were your spouses invited?
Yeah, families were invited.
Nice.
Everybody was welcome to come. And it was a covered dish. So like all the members of the committee planned the dinner, prepared the food. All we had to do was tell them who was going to be there. So families were allowed to participate and be involved and all that. So it was nice. We did have bets about what meals would be at the covered dish.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And we just about nailed it. Just about got it right. There was a green bean casserole and a ham.
That's
but
great.
There were some surprise desserts. What was it? A Ritz cracker wrapped in bacon, coated with maple syrup, and then baked.
Wow.
That was the best thing. That was awesome.
That's a dessert.
Yeah, it was a dinner / dessert kind of thing. It was awesome.
I don't know what it is, but it sounds great because it's got all the magic ingredients. Anything with bacon is better.
It's true.
Exactly.
It's true. I'm curious because there's a lot of churches that do different things. I've been in churches that do nothing, which is fine. We typically do.
No, it's not. It's not fine.
Well, as a church initiative, I think it just depends upon what the culture is about. So I guess it's fine. You're right, Steph. It's not fine. It's kind of stinky, actually. I'm saying it's fine because it's like whatever, there's a really great church. It was a Methodist church way back when that my husband and I were serving in. The church members would be invited to send in money, and then it was divided evenly between all the staff. So that was a kind of a nice thing that was able to done. That means that the pastor didn't get a larger bonus than, the sexton did, or the custodian staff. And I've come to learn that nonprofits, it's tricky with bonuses, right? So that there's some best practices and some not so great practices. And one of the best practices is to make sure that if you give a Christmas bonus, that the Christmas bonus should be the same for everyone, because when it looks different, then that means it might be performance based. And that's a very for-profit thing to do. So that's one thing that we should avoid as churches, since we're all nonprofit organizations. So I've learned a lot. What was that?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Steph.
Oh, go.
No, I was
I'm
just going to
sorry.
say, what about New Year's? Folks are going to get this, and Christmas will have just happened, and then New Year's is coming up, and it all happens so closely together. Are there some ways you've seen churches celebrate New Year's effectively as well?
Yeah, one of the best things that I ever did, and it was at a church I served in Florida, St. James and St. Pete, and we decided one year that we were going to try a New Year's party, but it had to be really low key, low maintenance. It was a small church, so it was an all church intergenerational thing. And it came off just beautifully because it was a potluck munchies. You brought your own munchie snacks. We had board games set off in one room of the church, or one area of the fellowship hall. We set up a movie theater with Elf and Christmas Vacation in this other area near the hall. We had children's stuff in this other area, and we had the TV for the countdown, and then we played. So everybody had like different areas to go to. It was really low maintenance. Because we asked different people to be in charge of the different areas. So literally, it didn't take anybody any more than probably not even 15, 20 minutes worth of investment. We played some crazy games, group games that used like candy canes and different stuff you could get at the stores for 90% off. And at midnight, we just went outside and annoyed the neighbors, and because we drugged out pots from the kitchen and banging on pots and everybody and outside, and everybody's just making noise, and it was fun. And then we all went home.
That's great.
Oh, and in fact, now that I think about it, I think right after New Year's, somebody cooked breakfast. We ate breakfast, and then we went home. It was just really low key, and it was fun.
That is fun. What do you do? Any traditions or any? What about resolutions? Have you seen churches do any specific resolution type of thing?
I just think the church is primed to be involved in resolutions, really.
Yeah.
If you think like a resolution is a solution to a problem or something that needs to be changed and needs to be different. And I think the church is primed to really talk about change in people's lives and capture that in a way that encourages people to allow, not to be preachy, but to allow Christ to like move in their life and help them become new people. I hate I really do. I hate the resolutions. That's like, they just seem so petty, and people never intend to do it. And you see that with teenagers every once in a while, where they just feel like the pressure to make a resolution because everybody's making resolutions. But I think the church is primed to really help folks initiate change in their lives, to become the people that God wants them to be, and to allow the Holy Spirit to work in their lives and make a difference, to address those things that need to be changed. So I've always thought like the church, if we could just capture that, in a new way and run with it, I think it would be really awesome.
I saw a really great article very recently, and it was the church's church resolutions. So the church decided to commit to doing one extra outreach ministry that year. There was like top 10 church resolutions, I think is what the article was called, or something like that. And it was really intriguing about different things that some churches decide to do in order to get behind that. So I thought that was really cool.
Do you remember the link?
Brian, really striking a chord with me, because I hadn't thought of it this way. What I hear you saying, or what's going through my mind, is that on one side, the thing of making resolutions has such a negative connotation because we fail at it. We've how many times have we said, we're going to lose weight, or we're going to exercise more, or we're going to do whatever it is. We're going to get up and make our bed every day. And then, and so the whole resolution making thing sounds confining and not an enjoyable hope for change. But instead, if we, A, could figure out something other than to call it resolutions, and B, but what if the church had practical hands-on systems in place that helped people through the New Year change they wanted to make. I don't know what that would be, but what if that were some kind of system, or what if there was a New Year fair where the top 10 common resolutions, you could actually talk about it there, or there were actually tools and things like that. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, so I don't know how this would all play out, but and what if there was language then used throughout it that wasn't, you break the resolution, you failed, but was more language, okay, you missed it this day, but you start again. I don't know what that would look like, but I think that could be just really the difference that, maybe it's a mentoring system. Maybe as a church together, and we were all sort of making corporate resolutions, but making personal resolutions or changes. And there were other folks that were journeying with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I like those ideas. I used to be of the same kind of mindset about the whole resolution, avoiding that word because of the whole failure thing and whatever. But aren't we constantly repenting?
Well, yes. And so I like thinking it like that.
Right. And so, I just feel like we're always changing. We're always transforming. We're always turning back. We're always looking ahead, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't really get caught up on that word, but I love what you said. I think it's a great idea to have the church come alongside its members, or the church,
to
support everybody in one another's commitment or whatnot, just to add in some level of accountability, and so that the church is kind of moving together in that way. I think it's a really great notion.
I wrote a lesson for Group magazine, I think, a while ago, and it was a New Year's Eve lesson. It was not focused as much on what I was going to do different in the future, but it was called like taking out the trash. And it was the things from the last year that I just didn't want to bring into the new year with me. And so it was just a youth ministry lesson where it gave each student a chance to write and reflect on the things that they didn't want to repeat into 2000 and whatever year, in the year ahead. And they had an opportunity just to throw that away, and an opportunity to sort of think about starting over and the new thing they didn't want to do. And that kind of has a good twist on it, I think, allowing people to think about, this is a new start, a new day, and I don't have to do this, or this anymore, whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah, we just have
And of
such
course, all kinds of games with trash bags.
I actually love the
Taking out-
trash idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff with trash bags. And yeah, I think it was Group magazine, but it's been maybe 4 or 5 years. If I find it, I'll let you know. Email me.
Yeah, January 10th, I'm already thinking January 10th, we're going to incorporate some of that into our youth program that night.
I mean, fun, because who wouldn't have fun with a great big roll of black trash bags, you know? And then, and you can think of it all, you know, you can think of all kinds of themes to do with it. And it just, I think it could be healing to leave things behind.
Sure.
And it would really say something for a church to come alongside its people, whether it's youth ministry or church-wide or within a small group ministry, to come alongside its people and say, the change that you're looking to make in your life, we're going to walk with you through that. And we're going to do it in a real way, a way that is relevant and helpful. And if you fail, it's not about guilt, but how do we take the next step in that, and to come alongside people in that. I just think it just could be a beautiful thing. And the church is different than the rest of our culture. Like, the church has the access and the means and the reason and the purpose to help people make change in their lives and to become new people. And man, I just wish we could capture that in a major way.
Amen.
Well, any final thoughts you guys want to say to our listeners about Christmas or New Year's, or just even wish people a Happy New Year in the new year?
It's a gift. Wishing you the merry of merriest.
Me too. Take a break. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy just the simple things. If you don't get that last dozen cookies baked, guess what? Jesus still comes. If you don't get that last piece of garland hung, guess what? Jesus still comes. You know what my husband and I are going to do this weekend? We got big Christmas plans. We're doing the family thing Christmas Day, and then Christmas night starts a Harry Potter movie weekend. So we got big plans. Big plans. It's going to be awesome.
Go see Star Wars.
Yes. I've seen it twice. It's fantastic. You'd love it, Stephanie.
You're a geek, Brian. I don't know. I'm going to see it. I'll have to turn in my youth pastor card if I don't hurry up and go see it, though.
That's one.
True. Well, thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much, Stephanie and Melissa, for being with us today. We hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's.
Ho, ho, ho. Peace out.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Ha ha ha!